Good morning, everybody. We are still in the middle of the slowest month of the year for football stuff. There's not a lot to talk about, so kind of makes sense that we'd be spending time discussing what is going on with some of these division rivals because we've got one division rival at least that is caught up in a little bit of off-season drama. It's the typical stuff that you will see in an NFL offseason from some teams, and this year it's the 49ers' turn to be dealing with it. They are playing a should he stay or should he go game with one of their best players. So this circulated across the internet yesterday, and it seems to be the most definitive thing we've seen from this battle between Brandon Aiyuk and his camp versus the 49ers. Now, this can easily go away tomorrow. This could go away later today, but as of right now, it sure seems like Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers are going to be parting ways at some point this offseason. That is where the momentum is right now. There's a lot of reason to believe that Brandon Aiyuk is going to be on the move over the next couple of months and will be wearing another team's jersey in training camp. So, first of all, I just want to talk about what happened because obviously making a statement like that requires a little bit more than just saying it. This clip from TikTok has been circulating across the internet quite a bit. It's on a bunch of different X accounts. You can find it on Instagram as well. He's talking to Jaden Daniels, and Brandon Aiyuk and Jaden Daniels actually played together a little bit in college. And Aiyuk has claimed that the Niners have said they don't want him back. Now, there's no way that's true. What is more likely is that they're not willing to pay him what he's asking for. Brandon Aiyuk had a really good year last year and is a very good player. He's not exactly a perfect fit for what they do in San Fran, I guess, which is a part of the reason why there's a little bit of a holdup here. But still a very good player that is very valuable to them, so there's no way they don't want him. They're just probably not willing to pay him what he's going to be looking for. You've got what Amon-Ra just got, what Justin Jefferson just got. Aiyuk's looking at these contracts. He might not want what Justin Jefferson got, but it's not going to be far off. And the Niners are unwilling and maybe even not able to go up that high, so here you are. So I'm going to say this. First of all, there's still a big part of me that doesn't believe this is going to happen. And the reason why I say that is, first of all, you look at that Niners offense, and I understand they have investments in these guys that are not necessarily going to go away after one season, but you look at that offense. Trent Williams, you hope he gives you one more good year. That would be like, you'd feel good about that. He is probably going to retire after this season. George Kittle, guy has taken a beating over the years. Guy has taken an absolute beating in his career, probably about to go over the cliff. Probably just not going to be the same level of player that he's been for the last several years. Just plays too physically. There's no way he can do this much longer. If you're lucky, you get one more really good year out of him. But more than likely, I think you're going to see the physical toll that he has on his body start to really work against him. Debo. We've already seen Debo, his best days are behind him. Debo is already physically past his prime, and I think has 1 year left in San Fran before they just cut ties with him and either cut him or trade him for a little bit. Christian McCaffrey. He's a running back, and he's been swallowing up a massive amount of touches over the last, really his whole career. He's gotten a lot of touches, but he's been a heavy focal point of that Niners offense for a while now. And before then, he was a heavy focal point of that Panthers offense. So I'm looking at a bunch of guys who are just past or significantly past their primes. Guys that you cannot really count on very much beyond this season. And in some cases, I would say you're hoping that you can count on them for this season. And then you've got Brandon Aiyuk, who's the one guy on this offense, the one star of this offense that is very clearly either in his prime or not in his prime yet. He's still young. He can get better. He's headed in the right direction. This is not the guy that you want to trade. This is the guy you want to keep. You give up George Kittle so you can keep Aiyuk. You give up Deebo Samuel so you can give Aiyuk. Those guys going in the wrong direction. I don't think you trade Aiyuk because it's no guarantee that you're able to hit on whatever receiver you're looking for when you decide to use whatever draft capital you get for Aiyuk on another receiver. And second of all, the draft's already passed. So whatever picks you get now, you're not going to be able to use for a year. And the Niners, I mean, they're going for the Super Bowl right now. They're going for the window that is open now. So I don't really know if I totally buy this. I think eventually the Niners will capitulate. They will give Aiyuk what he's looking for. They will come to an agreement that both sides can be happy with, or at least moderately happy with. So I'm not totally in. I'm not saying that I'm guaranteeing anything. Believe me. Tomorrow or even later today, the Niners could come up with a contract offer that Aiyuk just bites down on. And he's like, yeah, I'm happy with that. I got my $35 million a year. I got my $36 million a year. Let's go. Niners are trying to win the Super Bowl right now. I don't think you trade Brandon Aiyuk for a 2025 draft pick when you're trying to win the Super Bowl right now. And I understand that financially it would be a big strain on that team to keep Aiyuk, but it's worth it. Ask the Rams. It is worth it to re-sign Brandon Aiyuk on a long-term deal that gives him a bunch of money and then go into salary cap hell next year when you probably have to pay Purdy and you probably have to get rid of some of your older players if you win the Super Bowl. Now, if you don't, it sucks, but you got to go for it. This is the time to go for it, clearly. If you're not going to go for it now, then what are you even doing? So the teams that he could be traded to would be first the Commanders. That's the buzz right now. He could go to the Commanders because he played with Jaden Daniels in college, wants to play with Jaden again. Washington, they could use at least a little bit of help at receiver, I guess. They do have Terry McLaurin, I guess, but they could get better. There's also the Steelers. Some people are talking about maybe the Steelers could trade for him. I heard somebody say the Cardinals. I really don't think the Niners would trade him within the division, but I guess stranger things have happened. And there are a couple other teams out there. Patriots, they could use some receiver help for their new quarterback situation. They I would say the Broncos could be a sleeper. They need to dump Sutton, it feels like. It feels like Sutton and Denver need to part ways, and maybe they could do some kind of thing where Aiyuk and a pick for Sutton and a pick. I don't know exactly what the trade would be. It would probably be somewhere around the value of a first-round pick, because when the Niners were thinking about trading Aiyuk during the draft or before the draft, they were looking for a good first-round pick. And that was with an immediate pick. Now that they're trying to trade him for a 2025 pick, I don't think that offer is going to come down. So they're still probably looking for a first-round pick. So maybe they would just do like straight up with Denver a first-round pick, because Denver probably won't be good. Same for the Commanders. For a team like the Steelers, they might need a little bit more because the Steelers probably won't be that bad. Steelers basically always go somewhere around 8, 9, 10 wins, no matter what. So that you might need to go like first round pick and a third round pick, and we'll throw back like a fifth round pick. I don't know exactly what it could be, but it's probably going to be somewhere around there. I heard one proposal that Washington would give up like a second round pick, a fourth round pick, and De'Ami Brown, a receiver that they drafted a few years ago who hasn't done a ton, but I remember really liking him coming out of college. But the point I'm asking, the thing I'm trying to drill down to at the end of this video is asking, as a Seahawks fan, what do you want? What do you want the 49ers to do? I remember doing this when the Kyler Murray contract negotiations popped up a couple of years ago with the Cardinals, and I asked, what do you think, what do you want, as a Seahawks fan, what do you want the Cardinals to do? Do you want them to commit to Kyler, or do you want them to trade him? So again, I ask, we're Seahawks fans. As a Seahawks fan, how do you want to see this end? Do you want to see Brandon Aiyuk get a long-term contract probably somewhere around $34 to $36 million a year, somewhere around the Amon-Ra extension, I would say. Or you want him to get traded to another team and the Niners to get somewhere around a likely above average first round pick. I'm guessing that's what they would get. Maybe they'd get a little bit more because the pick is almost a year out. But let's say it's somewhere around there, like the approximate value of pick number 10 overall in the draft. So if those are the options, if that is what is on the table, what do you want the Niners to do as a Seahawks fan who wants the Niners to fail? For me personally, I want them to do the trade all day. I would love for them to get Aiyuk out of there because he's the guy on that offense that is going to be a problem for many years to come. Like Trent Williams, like I said, on the way out. Debo on the way out. Kittle on the way out. McCaffrey, he's a running back. You're always on the way out when you're a running back, but McCaffrey's been in the league a long time. He's on the way out. Aiyuk is the one really good guy on that offense he's not on the way out. He is on the way up, if anything. And again, I don't understand why this is the guy you move off of, but money's money. I understand the Niners have really hurt themselves to build this team that they have. And I know they have a lot of faith in Shanahan's ability to get other players that can fit into his scheme really well. But at the same time, talent does rule the day at the end, and they haven't been able to win the Super Bowl yet. So cutting back on talent is probably not the way to finally get over the hump. All right, I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think about this one. What do you want the Niners to do here?